Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I'm going to jump right into it. And I want to start, I guess I just wanted, this video is going to be about a couple topics, mainly from this past city council meeting on Tuesday the 23rd. Yeah, March 23rd. So, two of the big things discussed. One was I believe it's a Shell station on West Housatonic Street, the one across from McDonald's, pretty much near the plaza there, or right across the street from the Roasted Garlic. There used to be a Berkshire Bank there, as many of you know, and when you pull in to the parking lot, there's a drive-through that takes you around the building to go to the Dunkin' Donuts, and then there's the one right next to it that on the inside that used to take you to the bank. And where the bank used to be, now is going to be a pizza shop. So the owners were at the city council meeting requesting approval for this permit, and they kept talking about the drive-through. And then Councilor Cavey chimed in with how McDonald's is a problem at night with people beeping their horns, and and I started hearing this whole discussion on, is there going to be a drive-through? What about the safety? There's too much traffic there, and this, and why is it? And it kills me that our city council always approaches issues with business and growth from a negative perspective. That's what it always seems like to me, or from a punitive point of view. All right, like we're gonna give you the permit, but as soon as you screw up, we're coming after you. We're doing it's that way. It's not very welcoming to doing business here. There's ways to do it and be responsible and cognizant of the neighbors, the entire situation, and all that. Obviously, should all be thought out when the planning is put in. There's already a gas station there. It just always seems like we're anti-business. It really does. I don't get that perspective. The city council are not police. They're supposed to be there to help and represent the constituents. So, another thing that was discussed and brought up was the issue with the cell tower that went up in Ward 4. And on Alma Road, or Alma Ave, Alma Drive, Alma. But up near the Shacktown area, which is right off of Holmes Road near Herman Melville's place, Arrowhead Estate and all that. So, and this cell tower went up, and it went up in a shady way, and it absolutely did. Now, I got involved in this a year ago when they called me. Courtney Gilardi contacted me, and we talked, and I went up there. I mean, she was devastated. People in the neighborhood were so upset. They were begging for help. When I went up there, the tower wasn't up. They had started clearing. There was a massive issue with an illegal access road that they had put in. Some of the workers, there was an issue where they were actually getting confrontational with some of the neighbors. It was not a good scenario. And that whole permitting process itself was a little shady. That address was very deceptive, the 877 South Street address. So anyway, when I went up there was no tower up yet. The tower was on the ground. Parts were just coming in. That was the time to stop this and address this. Now it's an election year, and Courtney Gilardi has done an incredible job at spearheading this. And she's running for Ward 4 City Council. People should check her out because she has been unbelievable with this. She hasn't stopped, and I don't blame her. Now, I don't know any of the specific issues with cell towers and health issues or any of that. But I do know for a fact that When that tower went in, it was done in a way it shouldn't have been done. The permitting process, the whole deal, the notification system, and those residents being ignored by the city has fueled this. And I don't blame Courtney for not giving up. And for all the councilors to say, we got to jump in on this now. What are you going to do now? That tower is up. And I hate to say this, but the time to address that was when they were begging for help. Begging. Because it wasn't up and constructed yet, and something could have been done. Now, it would take a landmark, national, maybe even international court case. But it would be a U.S. Supreme Court against the FCC kind of court case now. I mean, you'd have to go after cell towers as a whole. And after the FCC and the process now to do anything for those neighbors, and I hate to say this, I don't know what the city can do now. They'd be facing massive lawsuits. And they should be facing massive lawsuits maybe from the residents because of it. I mean, the whole thing was wrong. And for these councilors to try to jump in on this now, for what? What are you going to do now? I mean, that's great. I mean, I'm sure the people in that neighborhood but could use I'm not discouraging that. I shouldn't say it that way, but where were they? They were begging for help. Where were all the councilors? That really, really irritates me. And speaking of that, before I wrap this up, because it is an election year, and that's why I back to Courtney Gilardi, because, well, here you go. Being an election year, you take a situation like our at-large councilor, Yuki Cohen. Now, many people remember when the restaurants got shut down, everyone attacked restaurants and restaurant owners. It was brutal. We had an outbreak, as many of you know, in the nursing homes, and the one in particular on Valentine Road. And Trisha Farley Bouvier, our state rep herself, made public posts shaming the restaurant owners. This is a direct connection. I mean, the pot was stirred, and restaurant owners were being attacked. Now, the restaurants got shut down. I jumped in on that because I saw what was happening, and it didn't seem fair from my point of view. So I jumped in and covered that story. The restaurants ended up getting opened within a week after that, less than that. So, is it a coincidence? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they say it was going to happen anyway. But my point is, after that, Yuki Cohen had some issues, as many people know. And Yuki Cohen is an at-large city councilor. She's also the owner of Methuselah, which is a restaurant up on North Street, a restaurant bar. And she had some issues. The only time the restaurant owners heard from her is when she was defending herself, and then all of a sudden she was saying, I'm being picked on here. I'm being picked on. And then she said it was because she was an immigrant, a woman, a single mom. She said other restaurant owners were going after her, and they didn't. This is the part that kills me with that she didn't understand why they were upset. She is a restaurant owner and a at-large city councilor. They needed her help. They were trying to get reopened. They were struggling. They didn't understand what was going on. And the only time Councilor Cohen spoke up is when it affected her, and she didn't assist any of the other restaurant owners. Nothing for them. Just herself. And she hired an attorney to represent herself because she was in trouble. And she said it was because she was a single mom and an immigrant and a woman or something like that. And I thought, my God, the reason a lot of these restaurant owners were upset with her is because they needed her help as a city councilor. Nobody should understand the issue more than another restaurant owner. And do you know how many single mothers that wait tables that were put out of work that needed her help? My God, it was crazy to me that she didn't get that. And she thought this was an attack on her as a person, and probably still does. I don't know. So anyway, that's it for now. Look into your candidates. Look into Courtney Gilardi. You want someone fighting for you? We've heard more of her on the city council on these Zoom meetings this year than half of the city councilors. That's a motivated person, and whether you agree with her fight or not, imagine if you lived in that ward, same ward as her, and you had an issue and you needed her to fight for you. That's who you want in your corner. Someone who is not going to give up no matter what, and they're going to fight for what's right and for the people. So I would take a good look at her, and I would expect that same kind of attitude out of all of our counselors, not this anti-business climate and this me, and let's go after each other because we don't like each other on the council kind of stuff. So, all right, that's it for now. Beautiful weather. Everybody be good. Mike's hair tip of the day. I have no idea. All right, then. So I'll catch y'all over the weekend. So enjoy the weather, and I'll see you soon.